Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of Game Night Date Night. And this episode is in collaboration with Games and Couples. So Game and Couples concentrate on couple counseling, utilizing board game as a main tool to help couples connect, reconnect, and stay connected. And one of the things that they've done is they've created a rating system to help people decide which game would best suit their needs. And the rating system is on 3 different aspects. The first one is conversation and connection potential. Maybe at the end of the day, a couple coming together over a board game is how they connect. So something that has a higher rating here is probably better for them. Or maybe, things are tense in the relationship and can tend to flare up easily. So how do you spend quality time together in that environment? So having a game where this rating is at a lower rating might be a little bit best. So because of that, keep in mind, 1 is not bad, 5 is not good. It just depends on where you are as a couple. The second thing that we are rating on is for getting to know you. So how much does the game reveal about your partner? And maybe, this is a newer relationship and you're trying to discover more about each other, or maybe you've been in the relationship for a very long time and this isn't really something that you're all that concerned about. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing that the rating system is based on is for potential for hurt feelings and conflict. A lot of times in a board game, there's one winner and there's one loser. So depending on how that comes to be, there could be potential for hurt feelings and conflict. Now, maybe you're working on conflict resolution and this is a good controlled environment to work on that. Or maybe things are tense and they can flare up again. So a lower rating system would be best for this one. So last month, in the month of November, we were talking about different games that were beautiful with great table presence. Ravels was actually our game of the week for November 30th, so technically it falls in that category. And it is a gorgeous game. Now, this game is about collecting yarn, knitting together some projects, and then trading the projects to fulfill orders. So it's a neat resource game and super simple to play, but it looks beautiful. Now keep in mind the picture here, it's just the retail version. So if you ended up having the deluxe Kickstarter version, like the bowls, instead of being little plastic bowls, are like little clay bowls, it just looks great on the table. But let's have a look at the rating system. So for connection and conversation and connection potential, I am giving this one a 4 out of 5. This is a very simple play. You either collect yarn or you trade your yarn in to do a project, so you trade your projects to do fulfill an order. So it's a very simple game. For getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see if your partner is going to be kind of concentrating on doing multiple projects before they start fulfilling orders, or if they're hoarding yarn as well. Now keep in mind, in this game, you don't want to have more yarn than you actually really need, because yarn at the end, if you don't have unused yarn, it counts as negative points. And then you can also learn patterns so that you're not committed to the color pattern. You can do it in any color combinations that you want. So are you going to give up a project to have that ability to be able to do that? It's interesting to see what they'll do. For hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. This is one where you work on your own projects. They work on their own projects. There's very little negative interaction in this game, other than, oh great, there's a purple yarn there, I need that, and then all of a sudden it's your turn, but they've already collected it. So there could be a little bit of that. Let me show you another picture of this game. Like I said, table presence with this one is beautiful. It's very simple to play, plays fairly quickly, so it's great. Now this month, for the month of December, I've kind of concentrated on games that plays fairly quickly. With the holidays, December is a very busy time with the shopping, the baking, the wrapping, and all this sort of stuff. So it gets so hectic that it's hard to find time for quality time to spend with your spouse. And that's where I find a nice, quick, easy game is a great way to kind of squeeze that in a busy week. So the first one that we talked about in the month of December was Framework. So Framework is a neat tile laying game where you're trying to connect these different frames together to fulfill the requirements that are in the little circles. And the first person to fulfill enough requirements that they've used up all of their little tokens wins the game. So for conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. On your turn, you draw a tile, you add it to your tableau. If you fulfill anything, you put a token down, and then it's the next player's turn. So it's a very simple game to play, but it's puzzly. But it does allow a lot of time to hold a conversation. For getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. Because I'm working on my own puzzle, you're working on your own puzzle, there's not that much interaction. It's kind of neat to see what they concentrate on, if they're going to notice. It's like, oh, if they pick that one, will they see that? But other than that, it's not a very revealing game. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. 4 tiles on the table, you take the tile that you need, a new tile gets drawn. Like, there is no negative player interaction in this game, so chances of hurt feelings, really, really low. Here's another picture of this game. Now, this time was a 4-player game, so you can kind of see all the different puzzles put together, and then the 4 tiles in the middle. Such a simple game, but super fun. I really enjoy this one. The next game I talked about was Project L. Project L has these really satisfying, clunky plastic pieces that all in like Tetris shape. And what's really neat about that is that it's bright and it's simple and it's quick to play. It's really quick to play, actually. So let's have a look at the rating on this one. So for conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5 again. On your turn, you can collect a piece to add it to your collection of pieces that you have, or you can put a piece of what you've already have onto one of the shape that you're trying to fulfill, or you can trade a piece that you have for a next level piece, or complete your puzzles. So it's fairly simple to play, and it's not tons of action pack or whatever, and it's not deep strategy per se, so it has a lot of opportunities to hold a conversation. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see, are you going to concentrate on upgrading the pieces, or are you going to concentrate on fulfilling the shapes that you have so that you will gain more pieces that way, or how, are you going to kind of do more of the easier shapes to do, or do you go for the bigger ones? So it's interesting to see how the decision making that goes behind it, but it's fairly simple. So hurt feelings and conflict, a 2 out of 5. It'll be like, okay, this shape, if I can fulfill this and I have the pieces for it, I can win the game. And then you notice that that's going to happen too, so you take it. But it's, other than that, there's very little interaction. Again, it's one of those that I work on my puzzle, you work on your puzzle. So it's fairly low for this one. Let me show you another picture here. Then you can see all the nice bright pieces and how it all comes together. And as I mentioned, this one's a really simple game to play and quick. So it's a lot of fun. The next one is King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo, no, full disclosure, is best at a higher player count. But my stepdaughter loves this game, and we play it 2 players all the time. So we tend to play it 2 players fairly often in my household now. So for conversation, connection potential, 3 out of 5. This is a dice rolling game. So on your turn, you'll be rolling dice, probably not, but in between, there's plenty of opportunity to hold a conversation. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5 as well. It's interesting to see, like you're going to roll, you're going to try to go for attack, but then, like your health is declining. And if you're in Tokyo, you can't heal while you're there. Do you stay so that at the start of your next turn, you gain 2 victory points? Or do you get out and try to heal? So all those little tiny decisions that you need to do. It's kind of interesting to see how your partner will think. And then hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. This game is a battle to the death, or the first player to gain 20 victory points. Most of the time, it's a battle to the death. So you're trying to kind of, damage your partner's health as much as possible so that you're the only standing monster, and then you win the game that way. Here's another picture of this game. It's a simple game. Like, it's just, you have your monster, you're in Tokyo, you roll the dice, and then trying to either roll like 3 numbers of a kind so that you can collect those in victory points. If you roll a lightning bolt, that gives you energy cube that you can trade for cards that'll give you special abilities. Or you just roll attack so that you can hit the other player and try to decrease their health. Straightforward, neat game, plays fairly quickly. And it's one that we enjoy in our household quite a bit. And then the next one here is Power Grid, the card game. So Power Grid, the original game, comes with this big map, and then you're kind of bidding on power plants, and then you're kind of putting these on your map, and you're trying to supply power for these cities. Power Grid, the card game, is kind of a simpler version of this, and it's, I feel that it kind of gives me the best part of Power Grid, but keeps it more condensed in the card game, and I've really enjoyed it. So for conversation, connection, potential, 3 out of 5. I mean, you're collecting, you're bidding, and that sort of stuff, but in between all of that, you could hold a conversation. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. There's a lot more decisions to do in here. Which one are you going to bid on? What resource, are you going to bid on one that kind of looks at the resources? Well, there's a lot of coal, so I'm going to get a coal power plant. Or are you going to be like, well, then get that there's not a lot of natural gas now, but this one has great value and there could be more natural gas, so you're more of a risk taker? Or, how you decide what you're going to try to concentrate on is interesting. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. I've had a round where it's like, great, I have my coal power plant, I need coal, there's a couple there, but the other player goes before me and they bought all the coal. Now, you can't buy more coal than you have more than, because you can have, if my power plant uses 2, I can buy 2 and then have 2 in reserve. So if coal is really limited and he bought to get some in reserve and made it so that I can't buy some at all, it's like, oh no. That could get frustrating, but it was such a neat game. I really enjoyed it. So this one at 2 players played great, and you have a dummy play that just kind of takes resources and power plants out of the game to kind of keep things fresh. It'll play up to 6, I believe, and this was a 6-player game set up there as well. But I enjoyed it just as much as 2 players as I did at 6 players. And it was neat. So you start by bidding on the power plants, then you purchase the resources, you activate your power plant, collect the money, and you do that until the last turn card comes out. And then on the final turn, instead of collecting money, all the energy you're creating is actually victory points. And then all the money you've collected up until then, for every $10, that's worth an additional victory point. It's really neat. I really enjoyed this one. And that was it for the month of December. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, my Instagram page is Mel's_boardgame_room, and we're also Games and Couples. And then on Facebook, my Facebook page is Mel's and Friend Board Game Room, and we also have Games and Couples, Love in the Age of Board Game. And then the YouTube channel, Mel's Board Game Room, and Games and Couple, Love in the Age of Board Game. So we'll see you next month for more games of the game of the week. So bye everybody.